Okay, everybody, time for round deuce. Now I'm actually back in the daytime, going for my normal walk. Actually, it's a bit early for me. Um, I forget what time it is. It'll probably be a while after I record this till I upload it because, I'm on the head of my walk, not the tail. But you're lucky with I guess not a bonus little midnight thing because it's kind of make up for the fact that I didn't do one yesterday. I was planning on it. I don't know if I'll do these every day. Probably not. But hey, while I'm in the mood, I'll keep recording stuff. And it is a wonderful day outside because it's in the tail end of summer. And here in Texas, at least in my neck of the woods, I know down south you only get 2 seasons as well, but it's 2 different seasons. It's summer and lesser summer. Here we get summer and winter. And summer takes up about 3/4 of the year, give or take. And it has a spring and fall tail to it on both ends that are pretty much indiscernible from each other, like almost all together. And they go in the opposite directions. So like right now, it feels like a spring day to me. It's 72 degrees, maybe a little bit warmer. My weather doesn't update very often unless I actually manually hit it, but it looked like it was 72 degrees. It feels like it's in the mid 70s, which is cool as fuck for me because I'm just used to it being so hot. Like this is considered a nice cool day. And it's great. I'm enjoying it. There's I don't know what's going on. Doesn't look like there's a cloud in the sky. But it could also just be like that really like dithered, hazy cloud that you're not really used to. Or at least we're not used to here. I know in California right now, their entire sky is just a dithered, hazy cloud that is reflecting everything orange because of the fires. And I heard some of that smoke is blowing across the country, so that sucks. I hope it doesn't make it this far. Honestly, I was hoping it wasn't going on in California, but they haven't taken care of their brush in too long. There's a lot of fuel that's been building up, and California's always partly on fire, little bits and pieces of it, but usually the whole thing's not on fire. That's been a very modern phenomenon that's been happening in the last few years. Using the word phenomenon kind of jokingly because it's entirely the fault of people who have not been taking care of all of the fuel or the dead trees and stuff that's off in the woods, all their bark and everything that's building up. Just, creating this huge storage of stuff waiting to go off. It's kind of sad. But that's just that state. I mean, everybody else in the United States kind of knows that California just doesn't function. I think that's just kind of like a known thing. I don't know how other people in the world see it. I don't know if they could tell the difference. I know our closest neighbors, like Mexico and Canada, can tell the difference between the states. And obviously anybody who's traveled here can tell the difference between some of the states. But I just wondered, people who have never traveled to America, kind of like how, I know a lot of Americans don't pay attention to other countries, so they just think everything in that country is just one way. How people view the country based on the crazy people in California, Kind of like, I think in New York and California, right? New York City and LA specifically are probably how most people see the country, with the sole exclusion of Texas, right? I think no matter where you are in the world, everybody just thinks Texas is its own place, and to an extent it kind of is. Though it's becoming much less so, because everybody's moving here. Even my family was originally from up in New Jersey. But there is a big difference, right? When my family moved here, we kind of integrated into Texas, right? I was kind of in denial of that for many, many years. But I'm very, very much culturally a Texan. I really like this place. It's a good state. It's very liberty focused, and a lot of the people coming here don't give a shit about like the culture that's already here. And that's kind of sad. Because this state is amazing. But I think this is probably like I was getting at, this is probably one of the sole exclusions where people from other countries just kind of know what this state's about. Oh, crossing the street. Okay, so, what was I getting at? Those guys laughed at me as they went by. Pretty sure they were revving up just to be jerks. I don't really care. It's entertaining. You guys get something to laugh at. Weirdos were wearing their masks in their car. I don't get that. Like, they had their masks on. Dude had it around his chin just so he could laugh at me. He looked like a fucking idiot. I don't know. I probably could have turned the camera at that, but like, why would you wear your mask in your car? You could just put it on before you get out. I don't understand that at all. I think maybe you picked up on the camera. They said like, "What the?" as I was crossing. Bunch of assholes out here. But you get that everywhere. I think one thing I've always said is that the only way you could cut up the world to where there was a disproportionate number of assholes in a group is if you separated all the assholes in the world into their own group. Otherwise, I don't know, give or take, maybe 10, 15% of any group is assholes. And they're always the loudest people, too. That's just how life is. You got to deal with it. You don't have a choice. They're just everywhere. I'm kind of an asshole myself. Though I'm told I'm one of the more likable ones. It's probably just because I'm charming and have a rather friendly demeanor. Yeah. Whew. It's very green here all the time, you know, like, even during the fall and winter, you'll get some trees that change. You know, we've got some, deciduous trees. I think those are the ones that change. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I did anything related to, like, ecology and stuff. But most of what we have is evergreen, right? Even our grass stays pretty green year-round, even during the wintertime. We don't really have it browning off or dying or anything. Most of our trees are evergreen. I mean, hell, the name of the city I'm in is Cedar Hill, right? So cedar trees are, juniper is their proper name, are just evergreen ferns, you know. Coniferous. So, yeah. It's just always green here. It's not bad, though. I mean, at least it always feels lively, right, when things are green. It feels like you're surrounded by life. It's good energy. And it does occasionally snow, so you get that, but it hasn't snowed in a few years. And that's kind of disappointing. When was the last time it snowed? Was it 2018, maybe 2017? I don't remember. Did it? I actually have to think. Maybe the last time it snowed, my grandparents still lived in this area. When was that? Whew. Because they moved to St. Louis because my grandfather is a fan of the Cardinals. I guess that's a good enough reason as any to move somewhere, right? They actually live in a studio apartment right down the street from the stadium. You can see it from their apartment. I was there recently. They also have a White Castle within like walking distance of their apartment, which was great because I haven't had White Castle fresh from the store in years, right? Most of the time, or fresh from, White Castle. Most of the time I have to get the frozen boxes, and they're good for a snack in the middle of the night, but they're just not the same. And But back when they lived here, I remember one Christmas we went out for dinner, and it snowed. We had a white Christmas that year. It was like probably the last year that they lived here, and that was pretty good. We went to Momo's, which is an Italian restaurant in Dallas. It's great. It's like, why would you get a steak when you go to an Italian restaurant? Because they cook it differently, right? Different cultures cook steaks differently. They put like a little spinach on top of it. They put some sauce. You know, it's a different thing than normal. I don't know. My dad's the one who always makes fun of me. Like, why would you get a steak in an Italian restaurant? Why wouldn't you get a steak in an Italian restaurant? It's a steak. I don't know. People are judgmental for no reason. Not that I can complain. I'm a pretty judgmental guy. I just usually excuse my judgment with like, I mean, you don't have to listen to me. Why the hell would you have to listen to me, right? Oh. But yeah, hey. Bonus video. I'm going to go finish my walk. And then I'm going to go set up for my podcast that I have to do later today. Might have my new co-host on there. Permanent. Been on the show before. But might be more reliable. Chris will still be on there. Don't worry. He just... Whenever he can, you know. He won't be a reliable co-host because he hasn't been. But other than that, hey, at least we'll be able to make sure we get the show on schedule, which is the most important part after all, right? So yeah, kind of tired of holding this camera up. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.